Alright, what's up guys and girls? Today, as you can see, we're going to be doing an oil change on my 2018 Scatpack. The reason that I went ahead and bought this oil, I was taking it to the dealership, but I've got some suspicions that the dealership might not be using the proper oil that they're supposed to be using in the car. It cost me about $70 on eBay. And it came with the SRT filter and not the regular old Mopar filter, which is a better filter. And I've got 7 quarts of this ultra platinum full synthetic 0W40 that has a little thing here that says that it was recommended for SRT vehicles. So I know I've got the right oil, I know I've got a good filter, and for my own personal reasons, I want to do this myself to make sure that the right oil is being used in the vehicle. And the reason that I'm wanting to do this is because in the morning on some cold starts, I've been getting some lifter tick out of this car, and that's one reason I wanted to make sure I got the SRT filter. It's got, to my understanding, it has a little bit better drain back valve and it has better filter media and stuff like that in it. So anyway, let's get on with it. All right, so I've jacked the car up, put it on jack stands, got the car as level as possible, and this video is going to be, you know, it's going to be a how-to, but most people know how to change their oil. This is more of a documentation purposes for myself to say, hey, this is how I change the oil. This is the oil and products that I use in case anything happens later on. So I hope this angle's good enough for you guys. The first thing I do on these cars is there's 4 bolts. That's right here. There's arrows pointing to them. You know, this one's got a number 4, this one's got a number 1. So you got to take this plate down there. It's a 10mm bolt. And use my little palm wrench here that I got from Snap-on a long time ago. It's actually a pretty handy wrench or ratchet, whatever. So go ahead and take these out. I like to do the front first because it hangs off the lip here. I know there's numbers on the arrows, but I don't see where it really matters. It's a plastic cover. So your cover just slides off. Got your oil pan here, and your oil drain plug. So let's see. And again, you know, anybody that watches my videos knows that I use metric wrenches. 13 millimeter. So what I'm gonna do, I know I don't have a drain pan yet, but what I'm gonna do here is just kind of break it loose. All right. I got this sweet 16 quart drain pan. I think I bought that thing from Walmart or AutoZone or something. I don't know. Can't be 100% sure about it. Let me adjust my angle here. Alright, so just a 16 quart drain pan. Get it lined up because when you pop this out, it's going to go pretty far here. Get my 13mm wrench back. Break it on loose. Got my rubber glove on for this. I get tired of getting oil all over myself. And I always, when I'm taking this out until it gets to about right there, and turn it a couple more times, hold up my finger so it doesn't pour, and then just take it out. And that's always worked pretty best for me. This pan's got a little spot here for you to put the drain plug. Move my pan. One thing I can tell you, and like I said, the last time I had this changed at the dealership, oil filter is really loose and there's oil all over it. Matter of fact, let me bring y'all in. Get a light over here. Bring you guys over. See. Oh yeah. Okay. So you see how shiny that old filter is, and I hope you can make that out. It's just covered in oil. Doesn't appear to be any around the flange there, but probably just the oily hand when they put it back on. All right, so the oil's barely dripping out. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and take my drain plug here, clean it off real good. Pretty sweet how Dodge put that rubber O-ring in there in that drain plug. Don't take this thing to Jiffy Lube, but they'll screw that all up. Seen a bunch of them when I worked at a dealership that they put drain plugs back on, like Express Lubes and stuff like that. They put drain plugs back on with an impact wrench, and I've seen Walmart do it too. And that is not good. Move on to the filter over here. Get the drain pan situated over the filter, and if you don't have one of these oil filter wrenches, you need to get one. They're really good. It's adjustable. It works really well. Spin this off. There's not much oil coming out of it. Oh, here we go. Let that drain. And of course, I'd be out of rubber gloves now. I just used my last one. I took it off after I put the drain plug out. So I'm just gonna let this drain off pretty well, and then get it down off of there. Now, when you take the filter off, you wanna make sure that the O-ring, the rubber gasket that's on top of the filter, stays on the filter when you take it off and doesn't stay on the block. So I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so what I was talking about was this rubber gasket right here. Sometimes when you take the oil filter off of a vehicle, this rubber gasket stays stuck onto the block. You're gonna wanna get that off. Because if you got two of them, if there's a new one on here and one on the old one is still stuck on the block, you're gonna be pouring oil everywhere. It's not gonna last long before it starts busting out, because these two are not meant to mate together. So make sure you get the old one off. The new ones here. So what I do is I always prime my oil filter. Just helps with the cold start. It doesn't take as long to get oil to the oiled components. Put some oil into the filter media, and while you're gonna have to do it a time or two because the filter media is soaking up the oil right now. So then I take a little bit of the fresh oil, put it around this seal. What this does is help it when I go to take this filter off. It won't be, there's a less likely chance that this is going to actually stick to the block if I do that, rather than just putting it on kind of dry. And since this filter actually screws on, you know, just like this, straight up and down, I'll go ahead and fill it all the way up. If this was a filter that screwed on kind of sideways or something like that, instead of being just like this, I wouldn't fill it all the way up with oil the way I do this one right here, because it's just going to spill out. So that took, you know, about a quarter of a quart there to fill this filter up. And the level is pretty high up right now. So what I'm gonna do now is clean the mating surface. Just take a paper towel and the mating surface where this screws up to, clean all the oil off of it. It's done draining, and then screw this filter on there. All right, new oil filter's in, drain plug's tight. I'm gonna pull out my dipstick here. Make sure I get it wiped off from top to bottom. Wiped off real good. That's dry. Take off oil cap. So right there, synthetic oil recommended, 0W40. 0W40 says SRT right there on the bottle. handy dandy little funnel here. Kind of wipe it out, make sure. Just wiping out the funnel here. I'm gonna start with the partial quart. Just start pouring these bad boys in. I like to get all the oil I paid for. You know what I mean? Dive off into this box. Give me another quart. What I'll do is get down to putting half of the last quart in, and then I'll check it, see where it's at. Probably go ahead before I check it and then let the car down off the jacks. Put my under panel piece back on and let the car down off the jacks. I'm not gonna sit here and film me putting 6 or 7 quarts of oil into this car because it's boring. But what I will do is, before I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and take this catch can off, drain it, and I've got a measuring device tell me how much oil I've got in it since I'm changing oil. All right, so I've removed the catch can here. Again, just like my last videos, 10 millimeter. Oh, come on. I'm glad I got a magnet. More than what I thought was gonna be in there. All right, that's about it. That's noteworthy there. Lay the can down. Man, there's a 2 ounce mark right there. 2.5, 3 ounces. That's a pretty good amount of oil. Thinking probably 3,000, 3,500 miles, something like that. Pretty good. Can's doing well. I put the car down off the jacks, and I've put everything but 1/2 of a quart in. Dip my dipstick back down off in here and pull it out. Let's see here. Make sure you guys, I don't know if you can see this clear or not, but there's the oil level. This right here is the safe right on the tip of my finger, so it's just a little bit. There's the oil level at the tip, and there's the safe. So I'm gonna put half of that, half a quart in it. That'll bring it all the way to the top of the safe mark. Let me go ahead and do that. Where you at? And I'll have a little extra oil left. All right. Should be plenty enough. I've got a little extra. I usually check my oil, every 1,000 miles or so. I've got a catch can. It does catch some oil vapors that come through. Last time when I took it to the dealership here, they actually overfilled it quite a bit. I say quite a bit, probably about a 1/2 quart overfull. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right at the top of the safe mark. Right touching it. There might be just a hair below the safe mark at the top of the safe mark line, because there's a spot about this big on the dipstick that says safe, and it's towards the top of it. So still got a little bit of oil where it don't run low. Even if this thing catches, a 1/2 quart, probably I still gonna be in the safe. But I check it every 1,000 miles anyway. So all I've got left here is to go ahead and put the oil cap here back on the car. And once I get the oil cap back on the car, it'll be done. and that's the oil change. I use the correct oil and an SRT filter to do this oil change. And this video, you know, was kind of a how-to, but also documentation. And also, y'all got to see how much oil was in the catch can. UPR is still the best can on the market, in my opinion. Looks good, and it functions perfectly. You know, my exit line, this line here, is still pretty dry. And that's what you're looking for. You want it to catch the most oil possible. So thanks everybody for watching. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment if you have comments. Remember to turn that little bell on, because that'll have you send you notifications when I post new videos. Post them as I make them. And I've got G2 red caliper paint, Torch red, Mustang red caliper paint that I'm going to be doing soon, as well as a few other things. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all my subscribers.